Hey guys, here's Frankie-Gruesim, and this is hopefully the last part of my clothing tutorial. So where we ended off was we had our mesh in, our textures all done, our mesh in milk shape complete, and we'd already smoothed all the normals. So the next part is to add the body. So my pants are actually only pants, so I'm gonna import wavefront object. General meshes and a CU bottom. Go. Now, the bottom is pretty easy, but all you've got to do is pretty much delete all the parts of the mesh that is hidden by your clothing anyway. So, zoom in here a bit, check the bottom, and you'll see that my bottom pretty much just about covers the bottom of the feet. That's good. Doesn't, however, cover the top part completely. So I'm just going to go to select here, make sure ignore back faces is not ticked, and make sure auto smooth is not ticked. If auto smooth is ticked, yeah, that's never good, restart it. Also make sure here this show keyframe is not ticked, otherwise you've got this really annoying thing at the bottom. And also to edit things like here, you can say wireframe overlay or not, smooth shaded, whatever, projection, front, top, right, back, everything. So I'm going to delete this, hide my group again so that I can see and just make sure I don't have any gaps. Switch it up. Okay. So that's pretty easy. Obviously with clothing, you're going to take a while to delete, with tops, you're going to take a while to delete all the parts of the arm that you can't see. I usually just go around the seams and make sure I don't have any gaps later. If it's something where it's taken me a long time to delete the clothing, the body underneath the clothing, I would export with the two groups, the body and the clothing, I would export it to wavefront object and save it again as a new object, just in case I have to go back, edit my mesh, that I can just say, okay, I edited my mesh, I'm going to delete my mesh, and I still have the body that I edited. So I don't have to redo the deleting the body part, because that is really, really annoying. Okay, so not going to do it here because obviously it was done in 2 seconds. So I'm going to select both my groups, regroup, let's say group, base, file, export to TSRW object, and just call it E, because that's what it is. Mine will go by letters. I'm just going to go to Mesh Toolkit. And the best idea is to use a reference that fits. So what you're looking for in a reference mesh. So first of all, if you're doing kids' clothes, I would use one from Sketchbook Pixels. If you're doing adult clothes, I would just use a reference mesh where you know people have fixed bones, because reference meshes that don't have fixed bones are obviously not going to have very good bones for you either. So what's important about a reference mesh? What does a reference mesh do? Literally what happens is the reference mesh is imported over your main mesh, and each one of these dots, these vertices, gets the same bone as the vertice that's closest to it on the reference mesh. So things that become issues are things like super baggy tops, where the vertice may be closer to the hip than it is to the arm, so it will be assigned the hip. So what you're looking for is mainly parts like if I have a here it's baggier around here, this area, the crotch area, I want to use a top that's baggy around the crotch area. If I have shorts, it may be a better idea to use shorts. Obviously, I need to use a reference mesh that has pants and a top part, various parts like that. So I don't actually have a reference mesh that has a top part that is also baggy. What I do, but I'm not going to use that for now to show you what to do, because you can also mix reference meshes. So Mesh Toolkit, Auto Tools for WSO, Auto Assign Bones, select my one. And I'm just going to select something else. Let's do that one. Replace all bone assignments, yes? and sweatpants. Right, now if I import this, go to joints, go to draw vertices and bone colors, you'll see it has bone colors. You've also got the issue that the entire top part is orange, which is like lower body hip area. So obviously that's going to move with the hip, which is going to look ridiculous. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to TSRW workshop, new import, and I'm just going to import a pair of kid pants. Any ones will do. Right. Annoyingly, she has a top on, which is annoying me, so I'm just gonna, you can scroll down here and say top and shoes and pick different tops and different shoes. So I'm just gonna pick a basic top. Right, now if I import my mesh, no to the first one, optimize vertex data, no, update bounding box values, yes. Right, texture is horrible, but that's not what I wanted to show you. Load an animation, do textures in a second. That's why it takes a while. For pants, my favorite animation is extinguish at the bottom here. And for tops, it's dance together. And then pick the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth one. I'll show you this one first. You can see I like this animation because the arms go up, which means you can see well if you've got stretching under the arms. Here you can see that the suspenders are moving with the hip, they're in line with the hip instead of the shoulders. So that's not good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into here and I am going to go to select, just unhide this, select the entire top part and say joints clear. I delete the joint, export this. And now I'm going to import my child full body mesh here. Now, usually you won't have to do this, but with suspenders, I don't want it to be assigned to the arms really. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to be really evil and delete this person's arms. File, export, sweatpants, and just call it ref. Right, so I'm going to take my sweatpants E again, yes. This time I'm going to take my reference, and I'm going to say replace only empty bone assignments. I don't want it moving with the arms, otherwise it will stretch down the arms, and it should be moving with the shoulders because suspenders should be on my shoulders. I'm just going to go to extinguish because that's the actual one I want. This one's good because legs go far apart. And I'm going to say import E again, no, yes. Now you can see it moves with my shoulders. Suspenders nearly always clip. This is something I have yet to find a really good fix for. Probably deleted a bit too much of that person's shoulder on that side. So I'm just going to delete a little less. Go, export. E, and just clear this side again. The other side looks good. And assign the bones again. So just keep going. There you go. Less clipping, works better. Looks good. Right. So, because I can't really see much, I'm going to do my textures first. So, for multiplier, I will import my multiplier. Done. Do I want to replace the current texture? Yes, I do, because the current texture is one from the old pants, which I'm replacing. So yes, I do want to replace the texture too. And my mask, edit, import, EU, done. I also want to replace this. Obviously, if you only have a 3-channel mask, click 3 channels. I also have an overlay, so I'm just going to import that. There are my buttons. And a specular, so I'm going to import that. Good. I can actually see what I'm doing. I usually like to fiddle around with the colours when I'm at it. So jeans, I don't really want green jeans, those look ugly. So let's take a darkish blue and a lightish blue. Kinda. It's a bit more blue. And a bit lighter. Obviously, fiddle around with colours how it works for you. It does not look too awful. Both a bit lighter. There we go. Kind of looks like jeans. Ish. Well, whatever. Obviously, they're going to be recolorable in game, so people can just edit them to suit themselves. Okay. Forgot in which order I did things. I think this is the leather one. Yep, that's the leather parts. And this is just going to be grey. Okay, cool. Done that, got my colours, and I can see the first issue, this. So between the legs is mainly the issue that this vertex is assigned to this leg instead of this leg, which means it stretches, and you can see on the other side of the same issue, stretches to go with the opposite leg. So this is something we need to fix. Delete that. And import the one I've edited. Also, often an issue is stretching buttons. Here it's not actually, okay, yeah. This is what I mean, the button looks ridiculous. So let's fix the buttons first. I'm just going to go to wireframe overlay here, untick the bone colors, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this button. So I'm holding Shift and Alt. So I select the entire button, I've also selected a load of crap. So I'm just going to hold Shift, Alt, and Shift, Alt, and use my right button to draw a box that unselects. And doing the same thing, Shift and Alt being held, and the right button, I'm also going to unselect the parts around the button that I don't need. So once I only have the button selected, I will do Show. And you can see it's a bit multicolored, and then I'm just going to do Assign. And what it does is it makes the button one color. If something is one color, it is one bone, it'll move together because it moves the same way because each bone has a certain way it moves. Right, if you hold Shift while zooming in and out, it goes a bit faster. Do the same with all the buttons. Show, Sign, and last but not least, the back button. Unselect the parts around it. Show, Sign. Right, let's just show you this first of all. Just go back to import E. Yes, I've got assigning bones. Now if I go to exactly the same position again, you'll see my button is straight. No button stretching. Good. Next is the part between the legs. So between the legs I always find is a bit difficult to see with colour. So what I like to do is I like to say left thigh twist colour and make it black. Right. Now I can see it's pretty much a mess here. Probably just a really bad reference mesh. This is black, which means it is the left leg, even though this is the right leg. So this is all assigned to the left leg, so it moves with the left leg, even though it's the right leg. And all the white parts are assigned to the right leg, even though this is the left leg. Because this is utter mess, you can see here these colours don't work well at all. I'm going to select this entire thing and say clear, file, export, TSRW, E, and get myself a better reference mesh. So I think toddler crossover C-Kid 2. Replace only empty bone assignments because I don't want to replace the top stuff. And just go through a couple of reference meshes to try them out, which one looks best. No, yes. Okay, still got some issues here. Let's take a look at it. Like that. Colors look a bit better, but again, no, actually they look just as awful. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of brown on this side. So again, really crappy reference mesh. Clear, file, export. When in doubt, use the EA body, which was my ref mesh anyway. Also really crappy. Wow, it's decided it's not going to make my life easy. I don't remember what other... Child... Overalls. Overalls always sound good. Bones are usually this amount of time. Okay, these ones don't look that awful. Got some fixing to do here, and this is a perfect example of a crappy bone. Let's check this one out. Right. Again, if I twist to make it black, black just means that the colours are a bit more obvious. There we go, that's the spiky bit that's wrong. So let's just fix this first so I can show you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remember which colour is the correct colour, which is close by, so pick a vert that's near it. Select that vert holding Alt in the 3D. Make sure you're not selecting any other verts on here. So show. Select the one that's wrong. Make sure you're not selecting any other verts. Here you can see I've accidentally selected the one in the back. So right click will box unselect that. And then say assign. Pretty much copy the assignment over. Right, here it's too yellow, I need it more brown, so do exactly the same thing. Show. And then I'm just gonna select all of the ones around here that seem to have gotten the wrong colour. Make sure I didn't select anything else, I didn't. Assign. Kinda. Nearly. That one. Also needs a new colour. Show. And assign. literally what you're trying to do is make it look smooth, one-colored-ish. Do the same on the other side. I'm going to say left thigh twist. I'm going to change to white now so I can see what I'm doing. And right thigh twist, right thigh twist. I'll change to black now. That way I can see which ones have the wrong colours here better. I pretty much know which bone is every single bone and what I need to change. Sometimes it's just going to take a bit of trial and error to figure out what you need to do. Oops. Okay. You'll get there in the end. Wasn't exactly very good. Show this. And then also all of these. Unselect the ones I don't want. These two. You can only select if you're holding Alt, and you can only select multiple if you're holding Shift. Right. While you're doing this, always just go into first of all, the leg spike is gone. Doesn't look too awful between the legs, it looks a bit weird. This one, there's something still a bit spiky at the side here. So yeah, there's got a big spike here and a spike here that I've got to fix. But otherwise we're looking a lot better. So this is the back right side. Okay, here it's got a lot of yellow. You can see that. I'm just gonna unyellowify this part. And this part is still somewhere down here. Okay. That's it. Ooh. Okay, here it's still slightly yellowish, maybe. Sometimes it is pretty hard to see what the issue is, which is why I say bones are annoying and a shitload of trial and error, but they need to be fixed. Because stretching is annoying and it can be fixed. And it's one of my total and utter pet peeves. There we go. Still got a bit on this side that's a bit annoying, but between the legs is now fixed. So something on this side, it's a bit buggy. I feel like I'm staring at colours. Say left thigh twist colour to make it something really bright and obvious. Make it blue. Okay, that colour is a bit weird. And a little bit weird. Try to select something else. Bottom one was wrong. There we go. Let's see if that fixes it up there. File export. I mean, perfect is nearly impossible, but yeah, it's not sticking out as much anymore. Good. So I'm done with bones. Now there are two further pet peeves I have. One is sometimes people have like block shading around the legs, or like really obvious seams along the arms when they're making tops. That's pretty much if you used a body mesh that wasn't normal smooth beforehand. And there is also seam lines around here. You can't really see it. If I zoom in really tiny, you can see these tiny little dots around here. And that's just a seam around here. So seams always happen. Also wonky hands. So if I had a top, what I would do is I would select the arms, clear the bones, and then do this again, replace only empty bone assignments, and use an EA mesh just to redo the weird wonky hand issue that often happens. You'll have to see it. I can't show you, maybe I can show you in a moment. So yeah, wonky hands bother me a lot, and seams. So seams happen everywhere where body parts go together. So here, or at where the legs go to the feet, or where the top goes to the neck. I'm just going to see if I can find child. Let's see. Top under. Let's just take one of these. Okay. Let's just import something. That was wrong. If I zoom in, you can see there's a slight gap around here. That's a neck seam. And oh yeah, there's the one I mean by wonky hands. They just get really, really messed up and like really, really stupid. So yeah, that obviously needs to be checked and fixed. So I always do a seam fix. And I always do a wonky hand fix, which is simple because you just delete the bones and then reassign them. So to the seam fix. What we're going to do is, and I'm going to import a naked child bottom, which I exported from TSRW, because obviously if you export something that's in-game, it's not going to have any seams. Don't use the meshes that come as .object, because those are usually really half broken anyway. So you can export nude outfits from TSRW. So I'm just going to import bottom nude. First I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all these other groups because I don't need them. And this is the EA one. I'm going to move to the top. So make sure the EA nude is at the top. Now you need to select all the vertices around the seam. So because I deleted the leg ones, I don't need to do that, but I need to select these. So either I can select them here, just hold Shift and Alt, and the ones I can't see here, I'm going to select here. So again, Shift and Alt. Make sure you only select these bonds. Make sure both the groups are also visible, the EA one and your mesh. Right, once you have it, go to Edit, Select Invert, Edit Hide Selection. This means that only the vertices around the seam are visible. I usually do have a window here, which is projection as top, and it has wireframe and ticked and wireframe overlay unticked, so I can see. You should have set up your normals. It's a plugin that you should have set up if you've watched some of my other tutorials. Otherwise, put the plugin in, which is on the reference pages. It's the forgotten what it's called, one of them, the normal and vertex aligner, and then go to Tools, Edit Shortcuts. Scroll down until you see MSTS2 NDM and MSTS2 VDM, and MSTS2 NDM, make the shortcut N, and MS2 VDM, make the shortcut V. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one dot and then press N and V. If I go to edit, you can see it's now done the vertex data merge, and when I pressed N, the normals data merge. NV, NV. So what we're doing is we're saying please copy with N the normals, so the shadows from the EA1, and with V, please copy the position so that we don't have a gap anymore of the EA1. Just literally go and do this for every single one. If you've got a top, you'll probably have to do this around the neck. If you've got pants, you'll have to do it around maybe the waist and maybe the ankles. The top, if you have a short crop top, then also the waist. And when you're done, just delete the EA group, export your own group, and always do this as a last step. As soon as you edit, mess it up again. Do not do this before you finish bones. Every time you then fiddle with the mesh again, especially fiddle with bones, you've got to redo it. So last step. And the step after that is to assign morphs. So once you've got all the bones complete and you fix the hands, then we're going to go to auto assign morphs. Select your mesh, and I always use the nude body mesh that I've merged together. I can upload these if I haven't already. Yeah. For the child one, I have one that only has the fat group because kids don't actually use any of this special well, they don't have a thin group either or a fit group. Just create morph mesh groups, sweatpants. Obviously, if you're fiddling around with bones a lot and you've got one that's relatively okay and you're new with bones, I always save them as a new one. So it'll be like E1, E2, E3, just so I've got backups of the old one. Import sweatpants E, yes. See my bones morphs work by just moving this. And I now no longer see little dots around here. Oh, actually I do. Seems I didn't do the back ones properly. I'll do that again. I did. Sometimes you can see them, sometimes not. You have to test this in game. But yeah. Yes. As for textures, go to materials and make sure that the diffuse has your multiplier, at least your main multiplier. If not, do not import the same image twice. Whatever you do, don't import the same image twice. Use browse. If I click browse, it'll show me all of my textures that are in this project. And I can just pick the correct one instead of importing again. Specular map, make sure it's your specular map, and normal map. Either use an empty one, which is uploaded on our reference pages, resources pages, sorry, or use the one that you made. It should look kind of see-through as well, and just have the details. Again, replace yes. Good. Name it something. Oh God, I hate names. No, oh God, crikey. Oh, which kid have I not named it after? I really hate coming on names. Let's call these tutorial Oreo. And boy, I like Oreos. Yeah. Child, male, female, male. Kids' clothes should always be male, female, because you can always use it for both, unless it's like skirt or a dress. Categories, everyday, yes, maybe don't want to sleepwear, athletic wear, yeah. Career is for work and for school, so I want them to be able to wear it for school. Outwear, yes, I hate valid for random, so I don't do that. Then, a couple of things to look out for here. One is to make sure your texture sizes are correct. So I'm just going to duplicate this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load geometric. Checkers. And I'm going to check my checker size. And this checker size is relatively good, but you can edit the checker size through these values. So a lot of people leave it on 2.2, and then it's like huge checkers, even though the texture is pretty small, and then just looks ridiculous. So fiddle with these numbers so that you get squares. And then make sure they're all the same size, unless on the UV you made something like way bigger. So yeah, if you want to check all the sizes, you can go to export this, save it as, and then for the next one, import 1, and then it just loads the same texture again. So yeah, I'm not going to do it for all of them, and I'm also then going to delete this preset because I don't like it, obviously. Make sure that here you don't have a shit ton of old presets from the old object you're saving over, which I don't. And if you're going to make new presets, make sure they're worth it. So don't just make a new preset for different colors. Only make a new preset if it has a different multiplier or a different mask or a different overlay. Everything else is just literally taking up a shitload of space in the game, which is pointless. So I have a second one with a different multiplier so that I can show you. Import the second multiplier. Do you want to replace the current texture? No, because I don't want to replace the first multiplier because I still want that for the first preset. So I'm going to press no. This one just has the text on it. And if I want to, I can now make this a different color if I feel like it. Like, I don't know what. Make this some ugly ass red because I'm not very good with colors. Ew, that's absolutely disgusting. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to go for a coolish yellowy color. Yeah, no. Well, whatever. That looks ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, you can make it, you can then make it a new color. Also, we can make my jeans a new color if I want to. But just to make sure that you've deleted any presets that you don't want, because it's really annoying if there's a shit ton of presets saved that are just pointless, literally. Oof. There we go, I have some more extreme jeans here. Right, yeah, let's see. Okay, so TSRW has a thing where it likes to crash every 5 minutes. Mine doesn't, as you can see, mainly because I added the 4GB patch to it. So, should it crash, which it hasn't, press cancel. Comes up with like, do you want to save? Yes, no, cancel. Press cancel, file, export to Sims 3 Pack instantly. Don't do anything else. 1. Because it still seems to be able to export it as Sims 3 Pack. Also, what you guys need to look out for is go to mesh and look out for the vertice and the face count. So if your vertice count is over 8,500, you're going to have exploding morphs in game, just saying. Then your vertice count is too high, and your face count should be under 30,000, but let's just say it's not that tragic if it's slightly higher, especially if you've got like a full body outfit. The vertice count is the bit that determines if your morphs explode in game or not. Okay, so if you've done everything, anyway, export it to Sims 3 Pack. This actually internally renumbers it. Again, make sure we don't have everything here. So we're just going to go to new import, browse, Sims 3 Pack, and then import it again. By doing that, we've renumbered it. Renumbering it means it doesn't override whatever pants that you saved over. Cool. We are now pretty much done. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Edit Project Contents. Select from bottom to up, export to package, and CU, over here, that's what we call them. Cool. Then I'm going to go to wherever I saved them, double click them, and I'm going to go through my image files and just make sure that all these images are ones I actually used for this. So yeah, that's my multiplier, that's my normal map, that's my mask, that's my specular, that's my overlay, and that's my second multiplier. If there's one you didn't use, press delete and then save it. All of mine are correct. That's just to make sure, because images really waste a lot of space. Then what I do is, this is 28.6 megabytes big. Exporting as package from Sims TSRW always makes it really big. So I'm going to run it through Sims 3 RC by just dropping that on top of there, and you'll see it goes from 28.6 megabytes to, wait till it's done, it'll disappear this window, 3.5. Yeah, and now you're pretty much done. So just for name, obviously I call my things Cass, Bottom, Unisex, Child and stuff like that. Stop adding weird symbols in there and brackets and crap. The only sign you should ever use is this underscore, because everything else just slows the computer down when reading it. People who use CC Magic don't have the issue because the game reads merge packages in the end, but people who don't, really just bugs up their game if you're using crap load of spaces or brackets, or I don't know what people use. I found weird symbols in people's names. So yeah, stick with simple names. Please just add your whatever, create a name in it so that people can easily find your CC for where can I finds later. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So thanks for watching all this again.